Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Downline Podcast. Ethan, how are we doing? How are we doing today,
Doing
man?
good.
It's wonderful.
Good.
It's a wonderful day out here. It's a wonderful, wonderful day out here. We got some things to discuss. Ethan, we were saying some things last week, right? Last week we talked about, how likely it was that, or we thought that it would be that certain players get traded. We've heard a lot of smoke around certain player that we mentioned last week.
Yeah.
I've seen like 3 different reports that it's increasingly likely that Tarek Skubal is going to end up traded by the deadline. Like there was,
100%.
there's a whole lot. I think Ken Rosenthal had one where he's like very likely happening. You know what Skubal said about it? He's like, we got to start winning, bro. He's like, we got to start winning. I don't know about you, right? I don't like the sound of that. I don't like the sound of that. If I'm a Tigers fan. He's like, yeah, last year when we were winning, there was no word about it. Which, I mean, obviously a team's not going to trade away their star player when they're near the top of the league, but,
right.
in the season. But that doesn't sound encouraging if you're a Tigers fan and you want to see him stay, because you would expect a response like, yeah, man, I'm focused on the season, I want to stay as a Tiger, blah, blah, blah. Whether that's all smoke or whether that would be all smoke or genuine or whatever, I don't like the sound of that. I think the reports are definitely, I mean, obviously we'll see what happens in like 2 months from now, but that is, that's not a good sign. You could see potentially the best pitcher in the league on the move. Increasingly likely.
Yeah.
So, it's tough. Did you hear what, this is completely jumping the topic here. Did you see what David Ortiz said about John Henry?
No, what'd he say?
So, he was speaking at his celebrity golf tournament, right? And
yeah,
you know what he said? He said he's worried about he said that John Henry's worried about the direction of the team.
Okay.
Which is hilarious. That's hilarious. I mean, listen, we're not going to go like super crazy in depth on this one because like we've talked about the Red Sox plenty of times, all that stuff. I just saw that and I thought that was really funny. Because like we've talked about it a whole bunch of times, like how when they fired Cora, like Trevor Story came out and he said, like, dude, we don't even know what the hell the direction is. They've seemed kind of back and forth and really weird about what the hell they're doing. And then John Henry is apparently like, yeah, dude, I don't fucking know. Also hilarious that, like, their biggest franchise legend in the past like 25 years is like, yeah, man, like it's not looking good for them. Like it's tough out there. That's not what you want to hear, especially because like, a lot of these guys just like ride for their franchise, like no matter what. Sometimes they'll just say whatever. They'll be like, yeah, till I die, till I'm 6 feet under, which not to say Ortiz isn't, but like
yeah,
they'll usually act like the grass is greener than it is.
I mean, yeah, or Ortiz also just seems like the guy to kind of just say it how it is. Not one to sugarcoat things. Like we've seen him. I'm gonna use this term, run his mouth, not in a way that's like saying stupid things, but as in like he'll say what's on his mind. He's not afraid to say what he wants to say. That's honestly sometimes a good thing, and in this case, I think it is a good thing.
Yeah, no, it's definitely better than saying some nonsense and then
yeah.
saying some absolute nonsense in regards to some things. So definitely not what you want to hear as a Red Sox fan. Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff. There's some big things that are going on right now, and that's going to be the main bit of the episode. But first, Ethan, we're gonna get right into business. We're not gonna tiptoe around anything. It's the start of June, and you know what that means?
Monthly awards.
It's monthly awards. That means it is time for our May monthly awards. This was supposed to happen on this is supposed to happen like 4 separate times in the past week, and then here we are.
Yeah, but then Bruno Mars happened, and then other stuff happened.
Other stuff happened, and then Bruno Mars happened twice, and then we were here, and then here it is. Shout out that was spectacular. I mean, you saw the stuff I posted.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, man. Hey, that man does not disappoint. Has never disappointed.
Yeah.
Ever.
I remember with a couple friends we were doing this like music thing where it was like a battle, so it was like 2 random songs, it was like a bracket from like songs from like the 2010s. And what we quickly realized is that Bruno Mars absolutely owned the 2010s.
No, it's crazy because like this is someone who like he'll just go on like a music hiatus just like whenever he wants, right?
And then come back and drop some of the greatest music you'll ever hear.
Like this past, like his album that he released this year was obviously as fuck spectacular. And he hadn't released a solo album in 10 years. The Silk Sonic thing 5 years before that. 24 came out 5 years before that. So that was right. Listen, y'all some of y'all don't know what it was like when it was like early 2016 and it was that weird era, right? He had finished touring. He had finished the Moonshine Jungle tour, which was the tour of his second album, and then Uptown Funk dropped. Whatever that was like. He was, technically it wasn't even his song, but like there was that weird period between that and between 24K, and it's like, where the hell is this guy? I remember being like, yo, where does this guy go? And then all of a sudden, on the radio, I'm hearing, put your pinky rings up to the moon. I was
like, oh, it's like, okay, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, growing up with, like, doo-wops and hooligans and unorthodox jukebox being, like, absolutely blasted. We were spoiled with some good music there.
We were. I mean, listen, like, it is no secret. I unapologetically love everything that I love. It is not a secret that I fucking adore Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars is, like, probably the first artist that I, like, started to, like, fuck with, like, really heavy. I was, like, in the car, in the back of the car. I was 6 years old. I was singing every lyric to Just the Way You Are, that music video with the cassettes and everything. And then I remember when the songs from Unorthodox Jukebox were dropping. Like, I remember when Locked Out of Heaven dropped, and I remember when I Was Your Man hit the radio. And then I remember when Treasure hit the radio after that. And then I remember getting the CD for Christmas in 2012. And then in 2013, that was my first concert too, which is like insane. And shout out to him though. Shout out to him. We were spoiled. Like, we were actually so spoiled. Anyways, let's get back to what we're talking about. Baseball. Anyways, it is the start of June, which means that May is officially wrapped up, which means that it is time for our monthly awards for the month of May. I don't know about you, Ethan. I actually haven't looked at who won most of the awards, and I know most of them are out. I've seen the reliever of the years, the reliever of the year, reliever of the month. Excuse me. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot who won it in the NL. But I know who won in the AL. Those are the only ones I actually looked at. I haven't looked at any of the other ones, so I don't know if my winners are going to be in line or out of line or whatever they are. So, but we'll go through. So as as usual, if you don't remember what we did last month, we did Player of the Month, Pitcher of the Month, Player of the Month, Pitcher of the Month, Reliever of the Month, and Rookie of the Month. In case anybody forgot, that is what we are going to be doing. So, we're going to start with the Player of the Month. Ethan, who is your American League Player of the Month?
I actually have co-winners because of how similar their stats were.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going to go with Kurtz and Aranda. Both of them put up very, very similar numbers. Both putting up a 183 WRC plus, OBPs 456, 464, 5 home runs to 4 home runs. I mean, just almost identical. And this is kind of what we didn't see from both Kurtz and Aranda in the first month of the season. We were missing this prolific bat-to-ball skills to be able to just do whatever with it. You want a double, you got a double. You want a homer, you got a homer. Just being able to do basically anything at will.
Hey man, shout out to those two. Shout out to those two. Yeah, no, there were, I don't know what you, there was a lot of guys that I had in consideration for this award.
Yes.
I had, I didn't choose either of those two. I had those two in consideration. I had like Buxton in consideration. I had Bobby Witt Jr. in
Yeah,
consideration.
Buxton too.
But the guy that I went with for my American League Player of the Month, I went with Cody Bellinger. Second in F4 in the American League, 0.1 behind Witt, 1.6. He was third in the AL and WRC Plus, not very far behind Kurtz and Aranda, who were tied for first. Yeah, man, he absolutely killed it. He slashed 304, 415, 578. Was third in the AL in WOBA. He had a stupid good walk to strikeout ratio. He walked 16.3% of the time. He struck out just 12.12% of the time. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. He was top 10 in ISO for the month. He was killing the game in every way possible. We've talked about before how much better Bellinger has been so far this season, how much more comfortable he seems, how much better the process is, and that has been especially true in May. He absolutely killed it. He was one of the best players in the entire league in May, and yeah, he gets my AL Player of the Month nod. Even if Gertz and Aranda, they were slightly better offensively than him. Witt was barely edged him in WAR. Bobby Witt Jr. By the way, I just want to say, I know the Royals stink this year. It might finally be Bobby's year. It might finally be his year that he gets his hands on that damn award. He might finally get it, even though his offense has been down from the last two seasons. I'm pretty sure he leads the AL in WAR right now by a pretty solid margin. I'm pretty sure he leads.
And if the offense gets anywhere close to that level, I don't see a world in which he doesn't.
Yeah, no, if it ends today, he's probably he's the MVP, I think. But yeah, he was definitely in my consideration too for the month of May, because even then his offense ticked back up. His power was up this month. He had 7 homers. He slogged over 500. The OPS was north of 850, and we know what Bobby Witt Jr. is doing on the defensive side of the ball. We know he's a good base runner. But yeah, that's who I decided to go with.
Yeah, he's putting up Luis Arias numbers as a base runner and
which is
fielder apparently.
Which again is an insane sentence to say out loud.
Yeah,
considering how much over the past few years that us and a bunch of people have said Luis Arias, he's not a good defender, he's not a good base runner, he's not all this, and then apparently this year he just decided to become good at everything.
Yeah.
Which again is absolutely nuts to think about, but hey, no shade. All respects in the world. We'll move over to the National League Player of the Month now. My National League Player of the Month was James Wood. I teetered between a few
exactly
guys.
What I have.
I teetered between a few guys too here. I was like, damn, Michael Busch could get this one.
Yes. Who I was really
ironically, you mentioned him. Luis Arias was on my short list too.
Yeah.
I had originally done these right before the weekend, and I had actually originally jotted down Arias when we were gonna. I think we were originally gonna do it on Friday or something, whatever day, and that's why I had jotted down at that time. I changed it today. I changed them all. I went through them all again today, and I changed that one. But Arias, if we did this a few days ago, it would have been Arias for me. Which again, crazy. But yeah, they're James. He's been so good. He's been one of the main reasons too. Obviously we know that James Wood, is a really fucking good hitter, right? We didn't really need anyone to tell you that. Everyone knows he was really good last year. Was an all-star, obviously. He's been one of the big reasons that the Nats offense has been surprisingly good, and why the Nats as a whole have been low-key not terrible. It is very easy to remember coming into the season, a bunch of people, including myself, thought the Nats were going to stink, right? Don't think that was a very out there take.
That's not like a scorching hot take.
Yeah, saying if you said the Nationals this season were gonna finish last in this division, everyone would just be like, yeah, okay,
Oh yeah,
yeah, pretty,
they wouldn't even like bat an eye.
pretty exactly. Because I like again, I'm pretty sure most people watching this would have had that take coming into the season. You would have not expected them to be over the Mets. You might have expected them to be over the Marlins, but at best, you expected them to be fourth. Like realistically, you were not expecting them to
Yeah,
be
like,
third.
you make the joke saying, "Oh, it's the Mets," I believe it, but like end of the day, if you're making your predictions, you're not having them over.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Like as funny as it is to clown on them, not that it's
Not that it's been going very great for them, and I'm sure
yeah.
that some Mets fans would not appreciate that. But listen, it just is what it is. Um, but the Nats are tied for sixth right now in WRC plus. They lead all of baseball in runs scored. Let me say that one more time for the people in the back, for the people at the back
Wow.
of the back of the back of the arena, the back of the stadium, who did not hear me. The Washington Nationals have scored more runs than any team in baseball. That's more than the Dodgers, more than the Braves, more than the Yankees, more than anybody. More than anybody. They're seventh in homers. Like, they're doing it. They're absolutely doing it, which is, like, so shocking. Because, like, you know what I mean? It's not like they don't have any talent on their roster, right? Like, Wood, Abrams. Like, they have guys. But on the whole, you wouldn't expect this roster to be that good. They were one of the best offenses in May as well. They were second in runs scored in May. They were third in WRC plus. They were first in slugging. Like, they've been one of the best power hitting teams all season. They were first in ISO. Like, they're getting it done. They're scoring, which is like actually so like this is so encouraging for Nats fans. I would be like, I'd be thrilled because
100%.
I wouldn't have expected this.
Yeah,
you got to respect that. And again, James Wood, one of the biggest reasons why in the month of May, he's just been killing the game. He's slashing 311, 425, 557. Had the best WRC plus in the National League in the month of May at 176. Just a tick behind. Sorry, I want you to guess who was second in WRC plus in the NL in May. Who was second?
was it wasn't Bush, it was Bleday, right?
It was
JJ Bleday,
which is another.
He's been unbelievable.
He has been. That's been another.
Unbelievable.
That's been another crazy one. He's been crazy. He was another guy who was on my short list. It was like my short list was like James Wood. Well, I guess he's on my short list. He was, well, I don't know, whatever. My short list of people I was considering was Wood, Bush, Arias, Bleday. Those were like the top.
I did have Soto on mine too.
So
I will say
true. Because he's been killing it ever since he came back. He slugged over 600 this month, but he has been killing it. But those were like the top guys I was considering.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I want to talk about Bleday really quick though, because he's been killing. There's been like.
He's one of the best hitters in baseball over the past little while. It's pretty crazy. And it's not like it's like, just a fluke like week or two. He is putting up a hell of a season.
Yeah, like over 137 plate appearances. Like, he's hitting the ball really hard. He's not chasing. His process is really good. He's walking a lot. He's not striking out that much. He's putting really good swings on the ball. Like, his bat speed is really good right now. 74.1 mile an hour bat speed on average. Which there's no percentile ranking on that because he's not qualified, but that's really good. That would probably rank, if I had to guess, around like this close to the 80th percentile if I had to take a guess.
Yeah.
He doesn't strike out a lot. 63rd percentile strikeout rate, but his whiff rate is in the 32nd percentile, which, on the surface doesn't look great, but that tells me he's getting his best swing off every single time. Do you remember, Ethan, how much on the Blue Jays broadcast last season they talked about getting the A swing off?
Yeah.
That's what this guy's doing. Every single time he's getting his best swing off, which is exactly what you want to see from anybody. You want to see someone getting their best swing off every single time. You want the best possible results. You're not going to get that when you're, doing your little pussy swing, trying to sell out for contact, sell out just to put it in play, and then you hit weak tapper back to the pitcher, second baseman, whatever. He's killing it. He's absolutely killing it. You know what else he's doing, Ethan?
Pulling the ball.
He's pulling the shit out of the baseball. Pulled air rate at Sorry, 32.6%.
Yeah, I mean that's basically a third of the time he's pulling the ball in the air.
Where does that rank among all major league hitters?
Oh, that reminds me. Another player on the short list, Tatis, home runs, 1.
He did it.
Although we actually was that in June. Was that in June?
No, I think it was technically in May. I think it was like the 29th was when it happened. I remember.
You know, good for him.
I'm pretty sure. Let me double check the exact day of this because I'm pretty sure it was May.
I'm pretty sure it was too. I think it was like the 31st.
It was the 30th.
Oh, 30th, yeah.
And you know what?
I mean, you know.
And you know what he did?
It was crushed too.
And you know what he did? He pulled the baseball.
Honestly, that was such a cool shot. The broadcast was showing like the factory in left field, the Western Metal building, in left field. Zoomed in, then kind of like zoomed out, went back to the play, and the next pitch he crushes one right to it. Like that was just cinematic.
You know what's crazy? We got a Lenin Sosa walk before we got a Fernando Tatis Jr. homer.
I think the funniest thing was like all the players like going nuts for it when we were losing that game, and then the pitchers are just sitting there like great, like fuck off.
Yo, you could tell that they were pressed. You could tell they were pressed.
Yeah.
Like, yo, this guy.
They're like, these guys. This team isn't serious.
So, for everyone listening, me and my friend were at that game, right? They made plans like a few hours before the game to go because we wanted to see Trey pitch, right?
Well, no, you wanted to see Sosa walk.
That is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So we go, right? And it is no secret to anybody, obviously, that I am not a fan of Lenin Sosa being on my baseball team. I'm not fond of the experience. I have not enjoyed the experience. However, when he reached base twice that day, which is hilarious, number one, because we were joking.
Is that like a season high?
That actually might be season high. He has a 500 OBP when I'm in attendance. I am just putting it up there. Because I don't think he was on the roster when we played the Dodgers earlier this year. I don't think he was on the roster yet.
No.
So we're going in there, and he's and again, it's no secret that he's been terrible, right? We're joking the whole time. He comes up like the second time, and my friend, I point at the scoreboard and I'm like, dude, his OBP starts with a 1. Not his batting average. His on base percentage starts with a 1. I'm like, the amount of times that I've sent my friend that's the speed photo where it just says looks at LARP, and I've just said Lenin Sosa in a major league lineup. Only for that to happen. And listen, you know what the funniest part about it is? It wasn't like in any of the parts of that game where it was close, where it was, 1-1, where it was 2-1, whatever, 5-2, whatever. It was 8-2 in the 9th inning, or 7-2 or 9-2, whatever the fuck the score was. I don't remember. We were down 6 in the 9th inning, and that's when he walked. And me and my friend, we looked at each other. We're like, of fucking course.
Yeah.
And you know what the other crazy part is? He almost had 2 walks that game. That was because there was a PA earlier in the game. I think it was in the 5th inning, where he gets it to 3-2, and my friend says to me,
I think it was 3-1 even.
It might have been, I don't remember, but it was something like that. It was a 3-ball count.
Yeah.
And my friend says to me, he's like, "Yo, we might witness the first Lenin Sosa walk of the season." And I don't remember what happened. I don't remember if that was that bat where he got a base hit or he struck out, popped out, whatever the hell happened. I don't remember.
I think he grounded out, to be honest. I'm not 100% sure, but if I'm remembering correctly, he grounded out.
Yeah, I was gonna say I couldn't remember exactly what it was, but
it's just funny. I
was like, man,
you know how they're in kids in youth leagues, there's mercy rules where it's like, oh, if you score this many in an inning, the inning's over. Oh, if you score this many in the game's over. Whatever it might be. Mm-hmm. They should make it if you throw 3 balls to Sosa, it's a walk. He should only need 3. 3 balls to walk.
He should only need 3.
I saw a thing someone say where that if you walked on 3, if walks were 3 balls, his OBP would still have started with a 1 or something like that.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
No.
Obviously, he's on the IL right now, but his chase percentage for the season, Ethan, guess what the number is?
I don't want to. It's gonna be like 74% or something. Like
All right,
absolutely
all right, all right.
diabolical.
Relax.
I'm
It's
kidding.
not
I'm
that.
kidding. I'm
Relax. It's
kidding.
50.
It's gonna be like yeah. I was making serious
50%.
guess. It was gonna be like 45.
It's like I mean, even still, 45 would be ridiculous.
Yes.
50%. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, leave the game before the game leaves you.
Yeah, man. Listen, so when you get off the IL, I don't think there'll be a spot for you, big bro. I don't think there's gonna be a spot for you, man.
No, the home run that McAdoo hit him in Baltimore already guaranteed his spot over him. So
we got a Charles McAdoo homer before we got a Tatis homer. I'm just putting that out there. Like I am just letting the world know that that happened first.
We got the Blue Jays creating a player, like auto-generating a player that they got from the Padres and Brandon Valenzuela and allowed him to hit 4 home runs before Tatis hit one.
You know what's crazy too?
Yeah.
The Padres desperately need catching depth.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna sit here and say Valenzuela's some elite guy who's the best catcher in baseball or anything, but
no,
that could definitely help him.
Yeah, it definitely would be good for him. Realistically, I don't think he has a starters over the full season. No. I don't think he'd be super great as a starting
His
catcher.
defense is pretty damn good though, to the point where it's for San Diego, you could definitely get away with that.
No, it's crazy because he'd easily be the best catcher on their roster. And we talked about for months how desperately they needed catching depth. They were, or just not even depth. They just need catching. They need They need a starting catcher. They need a backup catcher. They need catching depth. They need everything. They need someone whose position is listed as C.
Yeah, they also need a catching prospect.
They need all of it. They need everything. And they traded it for Will Wagner. Will fucking Wagner. Do you remember the reaction to that trade?
Yeah.
There were people
thought it was a franchise-ending move.
There were real life people getting bent out of shape over Will Wagner.
Yeah.
That's a no doubter. Damn. For anyone listening, Ozzy Albies just hit one off the scoreboard. It's now 7-2 Atlanta. You don't love to see this.
Oh.
What?
Oh, okay.
What?
No, I'd say off the scoreboard. Yeah, I mean, nice.
Well,
who's pitching now?
Well, not the dead center scoreboard, but it was the...
Well, yeah, who's pitching now?
Mako.
Yeah, so, unfortunately, I think 2025 was the Jays' only shot. No.
That one image. That was our only shot. I think that might have been our only shot. Oh,
yeah, the Dan Campbell quote.
That's who it was?
Yeah, head coach of the Detroit Lions.
Okay, I was going to say, I knew it was something football, because I could tell by the image.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ethan.
And it's looking like that was the Lions' only shot, too, so do with that what you will.
Fuck. Yeah, we're done. We're done for the year, bro. Ethan, who's your American League Pitcher of the Month?
American League Pitcher of the Month. Give me Davis Martin of the Chicago White Sox.
Hey, man, we're twinning out here. Okay, hold on. I'm going to ask, who actually won all the awards that we talked about so far? Because I haven't looked at it.
Yeah, I didn't see too much. I know Kurt won AL Player of the Month.
Fair.
Blade won for NL.
Also fair, yeah. Makes sense.
And the AL Pitcher of the Month was Arrighetti.
Stop. Stop it. No way.
I'm not kidding.
Yo, here's no Sun Yin Ring. What are we talking about?
0.93 ERA on the month.
Listen, I will never listen. You know me. I'm not going to take away from a guy. I'm never going to take away from him. Get your flowers. With all due respect to Mr. Arrighetti, there's no way we're doing this, bro. All right, listen. I do understand he did have the best ERA among all starters in the AL this month, but come on. That's Fugazi. I'm a big believer in that, when you're giving awards and stuff, obviously I think results should be the driving factor, right?
Yeah.
But also, you need to acknowledge when something is Fugazi. This is fraud. I can't lie, this is fraudulent.
I mean, he wasn't even on, my super short list either.
No, I wasn't even considering him. My guys that I was considering Davis, obviously. McClanahan was up there. Those were like some of the top guys. Wu, I thought about him. I thought about Emerson Hancock. I thought about Cam Schlittler again. But like Arrighetti, the guy. I mean, y'all got it. But listen, I want to give my flowers to Davis Martin. He has been. I mean, overall, he's been one of the best pitchers in the league so far this whole season. Even in April, May, he was really good too. He was someone that I considered for pitcher of the month last month, but this month he's been incredible. One of the things before was his strikeouts weren't super high, all that stuff, right? The peripherals could look better, right? Even if you look at April, makes sense. But in May, he led all American League starters in FIP, field independent pitching, at 172. He was the only pitcher below 215.
Yeah. Do you know what Arrighetti's xFIP is in the month of May?
I know it's close to 5, isn't it?
Oh no, it's 5.27. It's past 5. And I'll say, okay, sure, it's xFIP, end of the day, you're not going to give out the award based off what he was expected to do, but his actual FIP was 4.19, which is just absurd to have an ERA anywhere close to under 1.
So there were 44 starters in
expected
the AL.
ERA 4.51.
There were 44 starters who qualified for leaderboard in May, right? Arrighetti's 5th was ranked 31st, right? And again, I do want to emphasize, I do believe that things like awards should be given primarily over results, right? But results is not just, okay, let's throw up the ERA leaderboard, right? That's not all what results are. Results are actually how you're pitching, right? So, when I see that he's walking a shit ton of guys, he's not striking anyone out, whatever, he's also running a stupidly lucky BABIP. I'm sorry, I would not personally be able to give it to this fugazi of a performance.
No.
I can't.
And that's why Davis Martin got it for me. As a 172 FIP, ERA of 205, his expected ERA is 226, expected FIP of 223, and yes, like we said, it doesn't matter what you're expected to do, but it goes to show that he is pitching very on par for the most part of what he should be doing.
Exactly.
It's not like a situation with Arrighetti where he is just getting super ultra lucky and, giving him the award just because of the luck. I'm not saying that, if you benefit from any luck, you shouldn't be able to win a monthly award. But at the same time, yes, even though his ERA is low, I would rather take somebody who, pick someone for the award who has shown that it's not really a fluke and that's actually good, not just lucky.
Exactly. And I you might have said it and I just missed it. Probably did, but if you want to go to how the actual results were, okay, Davis Martin's ERA was 205, barely above 2. If we want to have that conversation, sure, I understand that's a full run plus higher than Arrighetti's, but everything else is in Davis's favor too. When if you're someone who for some reason in the year of our Lord 26 is still using 1-loss record, he was 4-0, over 5 starts, 30 innings, K per 9 over 11, walks per 9 under 2.
Yeah, but you know what's even funny about that?
What?
If you want to use that excuse, then I would rather just them have said Shane McClanahan, who was also 4-0, and his ERA was 141 and his FIP was 240.
Yeah, I would.
I'd rather go and hit Arrighetti's not in my top 5. I'll say that. He's not in my top 5 for a month.
Yeah, no,
yes,
it wouldn't have been.
He did great in limiting runs, sure, but in terms of sustainability, I'm not looking at that and saying, yes, that should be a sub 1 ERA. This is somebody who's going to keep this up the rest of the way. No.
Yeah, and again, it's just if I look at a performance and I say, yeah, that's fluke, that's fugazi.
Yeah.
That's what I get from Arrighetti.
His walks per 9 is almost as high as his strikeouts per 9.
Again, exactly. And again, not to shit on the guy, but I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna be very blunt. I'm gonna keep it very real with what I think. I wouldn't be saying, yeah, this is my pitcher of the month when I see he's walking a shit ton of guys. He's allowing a shit ton of hard contact. He's not striking anybody out.
And when you try to even nitpick the things that it's like, okay, I could see why they might have thought that, he's still beat out by other guys. You want to use his record. Okay, that's great. There's other guys who are 4-0, 3-0, whatever. If you want to say, oh, his ERA was low, there's guys who have a very marginally higher ERA with way better peripherals. If you want to say that,
McClanahan, Schlittler, like all
if
the guys.
if you want to say like, oh, he only gave up like one home run or whatever, okay, so did McClanahan, so did Schlittler, so you know what I mean? Like, so did a lot of these guys, and there's just so many options that I think would have been better and more deserving because again, you should be based off what you've done, but at the same time, if what you've done is just get really lucky and there's analytics and statistics that back that up, that it was just almost pure luck, that's when you kind of lose me with that.
Yeah,
with that selection.
Yeah, when I look at it and I say that's fake, that's when you lose me. So, I mean, we'll see. Whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to those other guys too. Davis Morton, shout out to you. NL Pitcher of the Month. Holy fuck, Ethan. We all know who the top two are.
I will say, yeah, we do.
We all know who the top two are. I went back and forth on this so many times.
Here's my thing. I think in terms of the actual raw numbers, Mizorowski was better. However, going a full calendar month without giving up a single run makes it so hard to not you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna spoil it here. I went with Christopher Sanchez as my guy.
Same.
Right?
Yeah, same.
However, I went back and forth so many times. I was like, oh fuck, what about this? And well, Miz did this and yada yada, right?
Yeah. Like I saw a tweet where someone had the Miz as their pitcher of the month, and they were being like infiltrated with like Phillies fans. It was like, oh, his ERA is this, his ERA is that. Yeah, that's one run he's given up. One.
I do not think that there is there is no wrong answer here, right?
No.
I think that like I know we just had the conversation with like Davis Morton and Arrighetti and all these other guys, whatever. I think there is a difference when it's like Arrighetti's ERA of like 0.9 or whatever it was and his FIP of like 4.95, whatever the hell it is, versus this kind of conversation here, right?
Yes.
I can't lie. I definitely like a big part of my decision was Sanchez going the full month without allowing a run.
Yeah.
I will say this though: the innings are damn near identical, and again, Mizorowski 1 run. Like, it's not a big difference. I understand that the 0 ERA in the month is like a big thing. Like that lights up the thing that makes the headlines, whatever. One run as well is also just ridiculous. I want to give all the credit in the world to Mizorowski, though. I want to shout him out. He was phenomenal. I think literally almost any other month in history he probably gets it.
Yeah.
It just so happened that, you know, he Christopher Sanchez, who now after today, I know he gave up the 1 run today, but I'm pretty sure he set the longest scoreless streak for like in terms of innings for a lefty in MLB history. I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely insane stuff. For that reason, I give it to him, but just know it's not like it's an obvious choice. I was literally flip-flopping basically minute by minute. Like, yeah, I think the Miz is better, but yeah, Christopher Sanchez had these stats. Like, yeah, but he didn't give up a run. Like, absolutely. It was flip-flopping.
Like, when there are two guys that are this good, right? Again, like, let's go over it really quick. They were the 2 best pitchers in the NL by earned run average. They were the 2 best pitchers in the NL by FIP. The 2 best pitchers in the NL by WAR, which again, you know, WAR for pitchers, whatever, right? They were the 2 best pitchers in the league by strikeout to walk ratio. They were 2 of the 4 best pitchers in the NL by strikeout percentage. They were just ridiculous. They were both ridiculous. When you have 2 guys who are this good, like you kind of have to split hairs. You kind of have to pick a tiny thing here that's going to give somebody the edge, right? you can't really be like, oh well, this guy clears, like, because that's just not true. Neither one of these guys is clear of the other one. Like, let's be real with ourselves. There is no wrong answer here, and like if anything, there's two correct answers. If anything, there's two correct answers. Because again, like when there's two guys that are this good, you have to split hairs, you have to nitpick, you have to pick a very tiny detail that's going to break the tie, right?
Yeah.
Like that's just what has to happen. Unless you want to do co-winners, which honestly, maybe I should have done co-winner. I don't know. Whatever.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, here's my thing. I gave Kurtz and Aranda the co-winner. I'll give them the co-winner too.
Whatever. I already picked it. I'm not gonna go back, but Sanchez too, man. There were some other. It's also crazy because
they both deserve their flowers.
It also, these two were like so good. There's some other like pitchers who were so good this month that are like, getting overshadowed. Like Kyle Harris. They had both these guys in the same rotation.
Ben Brown, Chris Sale. I mean, there was some.
Chase Burns was ridiculous this month. Like some guys were absolutely killing the game this month.
It was a great month for pitching. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. There were 10 starters in the National League with an ERA under 2.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I want to shout out, this is like especially my kind of guy. Shout out Braxton Ashcraft, my absolute dog. I've talked about it before on the pod that he's going to be really good.
Chad innings eater.
Just a Chad demon. Sub 2 ERA on the month. Sub 3 FIP on the month.
I love guys who go out there and just throw the damn baseball.
I love him because he's on my fantasy team too.
Well, yeah,
him.
but
I mean, I was on him like before the season even started.
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons why I predicted the Pirates to be really good. This is one of the guys. There was a bunch of reasons, but this is one of the guys why I said, like, damn, their pitching's gonna be fucking insane. I'm pretty sure I wrote about him when I did my really big predictions thing at the start of the season. My like really long, took me all day to write kind of thing. And then he was still in free agency. He was at first I was just streaming him. And then it was like near the end of April, and he was still in free agency. And I was like, I'm just gonna not drop you.
Yeah.
Anymore. I'm just like,
one of my it was Kyle Harrison, and obviously I just kept him, and I think that was a pretty good choice.
You know who another one of my streams was? Who I ended up keeping?
Who?
Davis Martin.
Yeah, I mean,
which is crazy because like, you know who my first pick was? It was Garrett Crochet.
Who was
it was Garrett Crochet.
Wow.
And, he wasn't very good before he went on the IL, and then he's been on the IL for over a month.
Yeah.
It was Garrett Crochet, and then, yeah, man, it wasn't, it wasn't looking very good for me, because my third pick was Perdomo, too, and he hasn't been he's been, like, solid, but he hasn't been giving much fantasy value this season.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, fantasy-wise, not great.
And then,
in real life, he has been very good.
He's been very good, because, he does a lot of things that just add up to value. You know who my fourth pick was?
Who?
George Springer.
Oh, wow. That's looking like a great pick.
And my fifth pick was Edwin Diaz.
Yeah, so a lot of people in that draft room are definitely looking over at their decisions and thinking, like, so what went wrong?
Well, a lot of things went wrong for me in that draft room, I can't lie. Didn't necessarily expect Springer to, stay in the game, I would have expected that he would have left the game before the game left him, but that's not the case. It seems like the game has left him before he left the game.
It appears Unk does not still got it.
He does not got it anymore, I think. I do think that we're pretty close to just saying he's cooked. Edwin Diaz had the thing, the loose bodies in the elbow. Crochet had the injury. Perdomo was just, kind of regressed. And you know what's crazy?
What?
I'm 6-3 despite it all.
Yeah,
despite it all.
That's just good being a good GM, I guess.
Listen, despite it all, I'm 6-3. I'm third in the league in points. Shout out Davis Martin.
I'll do it.
Shout out Braxton Ashcraft. Those are my demons. My absolute demons this season, bro. Shout out to those guys. So we're gonna move on to reliever of the month. Now, Ethan, who is your American League reliever of the month?
I got Louis Varland.
Louis Varland, shout out to him. That was another one where I'm not gonna lie, I waffled on that one a little bit because there was There's a
I mean,
lot of
Cade Smith's xFIP is in the negatives, I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
Or it might have just been his FIP, but
This is one that
I saw a lot of Jays fans saying that he was robbed or whatever. Honestly, that's the one where I mean, it's like, it's fine. Like, I obviously not giving up a run is impressive, but Cade Smith, I don't think it's undeserving.
yeah, no, like this is one where I looked at it, you know what I mean? I originally had him as my guy when I did them like before the weekend, which technically was before the end of the month. But even so, like Cade Smith, ridiculous. His FIP was you're right. His FIP was minus 0.35. Right. We'll talk about Varland really quick since that was your guy. I'm sure you can guess who I did. Spoiler alert: we have different guys here. 0 ERA in the month of May for Mr. Varland here.
Yeah, I just had to. He's my guy.
I mean, I respect it. I can't
not
lie.
Not that Cade Smith isn't my guy too.
That is true. Like he's representing. He's representing us well. Oh no, the Lou Dog is absolutely the guy.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like he's just an absolute demon. He's a workhorse too, which is like crazy. Which honestly kind of concerns me. Not for anything that like has to do with him, but it's like, maybe he doesn't have to pitch all the time. Maybe. Just a thought.
Dude, it was crazy. He was pitching every fucking playoff game. I've never seen anything like that.
The amount of times where I would be watching and
and they just show him warming up in the bullpen. It's like, oh, okay.
The amount of time, like it became a meme, like in the offseason, like Varland's warming up in the bullpen again. The amount of times that I would say, I'm sure I said this to you a bunch of times. I'm sure I said it to like my friends a bunch. I'm like, okay, I'm scared. I'm scared for his elbow. Like, it was like actually concerning. I was like, yo, this guy's gonna blow out his elbow. Like, I'm actually terrified.
Honestly, I love what the Jays have done the past couple games because they said, you know what, Louis, you've been working hard. We're just gonna be playing such terrible baseball that you don't even have to worry about coming in.
Oh my god, it's killing me, man. It's killing me. Yo, that Hoffman one the other day. It was crazy. It was crazy, right? Because I wasn't watching that game, right? I was going to Downsview for Bruno, right? So I wasn't watching the game. Yeah. So I'm waiting for my friend outside the station, whatever. I decided to check the score on my phone. I see it's 5-1 going to the bottom of the ninth. They say, all right, cool. Right? I didn't see who was used, what happened. I just go, okay, it's 5-1, cool. No problem. And then someone asked me in a Discord, you know what's funny? This Discord has nothing to do with baseball. It's like a record collecting Discord. I don't even know how I found my way in there. Someone just invited me there, and I was like, yeah, sure. And I found a Jays fan in there. And he asked me, he's like, yo, get Hoffman off my team. And I go, what's happening? And then he says, it was 5-1, but now it's 5-3, bases loaded. I go, you're fucking kidding. I go, you're trolling. Like you're actually just trolling me right now. So I look and I see it is. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, you're kidding. I'm like, you're trolling me. Like you're actively trolling me. Like you're taking the piss. And I put my phone back in my pocket. I'm just like, fuck, man. I go, I'm not gonna think about this baseball squad right now. I have a generational performance ahead of me. Let me not sour the night. But what happens is I look again while I'm waiting for my friend. My friend was like super late, by the way. He was like 40 minutes later than he was supposed to show up. So I had time to check. So I check again. It's 5-4, and I go, oh my god, there's no way that they're gonna do this, because we had done the same thing to them almost like the night before, right? Because we came back, we were down 5-0, and then I go, please, just fucking get the last 2 outs. And then I look again.
The funny thing is,
I look again and it's 5-5, and I'm just like, there's no way we don't go to extras. Like, there's no way.
I mean, the funniest thing to me is that the game before was the most 20-25 win that we could have had. It could have like been the one to change the momentum, and then that happens. And also the fact that it's like, at what point you just decide, I'm just gonna pitch down the middle. If he hits it, he hit. Like at that point, I'm thinking, because first of all, it's just bullpen mismanagement. I don't know why it's not Hoffman, who's been unbelievable in the 7th inning, in the 7th, then Rogers, then Varland. But anyways, the thing that I really don't get is at what point you decide, okay, I'm just gonna start throwing down the middle because if we get to extras, our bullpen sucks anyway, so it doesn't matter. And if they walk it off, they walk it off.
Yeah.
Whereas you could, somehow luck your way into an out if he makes contact. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, whatever. And then I check my phone again. I see 6-5. And I'm just like, whatever, man. I'm not thinking about this team for the rest of the night.
Oh my god, that's another thing. Why on earth with Pete Alonso up are you um are you playing infield in there? Because if you play straight up, that's probably a double play.
Yeah, Pete Alonso's not beating out a double play ball. Pete Alonso. Let me say that for the people in the back again. Pete Alonso is not beating out a double play ball. There are a lot of guys in this league who, even in that, was it 1 out when the walk-off was hit, or was it? What was it?
1 out. Yeah, that could have been a double play. That
so there's a lot. There's guys in the league who you probably play. It makes sense to play in for in that situation, right? It makes sense, right? Pete Alonso's not one of them. Because listen, realistically, Pete Alonso's a guy who can hit the ball hard, right? So if he does that, what's probably going to happen if you're in, there's a good chance that you are not going to be deep enough to go over and get the ball. Like you're not just going to not have enough range because you're so far in. And if you're back, even if you have to go to your right or to your left, he's not beating, he's just not beating that out. Like that's just not the guy who's going to do it.
Yeah.
And whatever. But the rest of that night, I didn't think about that team. I was like, fuck that. I don't care about this team. You know what I did spend a lot of the night trying to do was trying to figure out how to tie bandana.
That's fire. Did you learn how?
I did. I actually did. I impulse bought one at the merch spot.
That's fire.
Because I got a shirt for every concert I go to, obviously, right? And then I saw that they had these bandanas. I mean, I knew they had them because I knew a friend who was at the show 2 days before me, whatever. And she said she had got a bandana, and I was like, damn. So I put the idea in my head, and then I actually saw them, and I was like, okay. I mean, when am I going to be able to get a Bruno Mars bandana again?
Yeah.
And so I bought it with the shirt.
Fire purchase.
I bought it with the shirt, and then I realized I've never worn a bandana in my life, and I don't know how to tie this thing. So I taught myself how to tie it properly, but I wasn't able to properly do it over around my head before the show started. I kind of just came to the conclusion that my head was too large for it. It's not. I found that out on the way home. It's not. So I just tied it around my elbow for the show. I was like, this is gonna work. We got to do something. This has got to work. Whatever. But yeah, shout out to that. That's what I spent that night doing instead of thinking about that baseball team.
That's so much better. I'm jealous.
And then I impulse bought the next day. I spent $115 on those seats the second day, which is ridiculous.
That's a really good deal.
Is less than half of what I paid for the day before, by the way. We paid $250. We paid $250 a pop for the first day. For worse seats, which is hilarious. Anyways, my American League reliever of the month was Kate Smith. Not a surprise. I was kind of gassing it. Again, I think that there's multiple correct answers. If you would have said Kate Smith, if you would have said Garrett Whitlock, I wouldn't have blamed you. If you would have said Aroldis Chapman, I wouldn't have blamed you. If you would have said Varland, I wouldn't have blamed you. There were guys.
If you said Jeff Hoffman.
You would have said Jeff Hoffman, I would have found you. You would be located. So,
yeah.
Again, I do think that primarily based off results, but also FIP is heavily results based, right? Let's not act like it's not. And even so, for the month, Kate Smith had a 132 earned run average. And the big thing why he was so good, he was striking everybody out and he was walking nobody. He had the best K per 9 among all American League relievers this month, and it wasn't close, by the way. Second was Chapman at 13.5. Kate Smith was 16.46.
Wow.
That is almost the gap between 2 and 18. The gap between 1 and 2 on this leaderboard is almost the gap, not exactly, almost the gap between 2 and 18. which was ridiculous. And then plus his walks per nine was stupid low. It was a 0.66. He didn't allow a single homer all month. And that's also while he was like kind of getting BABIP'd. Like he had a pretty high BABIP for the month. He had a 375 BABIP against him, but he struck out so many guys it didn't matter. So
yeah,
he ended the month with a 132 earned run average. A negative FIP, by the way. Let me say that one more time. A negative FIP, minus 0.35. Had the best expected FIP in the entire American League among relievers, which, again, another number that it's not even close to second. 0.59 expected FIP for the month. Second was, again, Chapman at 2.
Yeah.
Again,
crazy.
That is pretty close to the gap between 2 and... Let me see exactly. 32.
Yeah.
Again, not to say that there weren't other guys that you could consider. Again, Varland, Chapman. Like, you could have even, light mention of Cal Quantrill, because he was, like, low-key solid this month. Well, I don't know about reliever of the month good, but he was solid. There's other guys, too. Like, I don't really think that there was, like, one answer for this, but I just think Cade Smith was so good that I just, like... I couldn't not give it to him, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Valid.
Anyways, for my National League reliever of the month, I went with Trevor McGill of the Milwaukee Brewers.
Ooh.
He was crazy. He was so good this month.
I like it.
He was absolutely demon time. He had the best strikeout to walk percentage in the whole National League among NL relievers. He had a 180 earned run average. He had the best FIP among all National League relievers at 0.59. Was second in expected earned run average, which is really funny because number one is his teammate Chad Patrick. He was third in expected FIP. He was tied for second in WAR among relievers. This is another one that I will say there was like 5 guys that I think probably even more where I think you realistically could have chosen them. I think that you could have chosen, before you say who your guy is, I think you could have chosen like Morejon. I think you could have chosen Luke Weaver. I think you could have gone Jacob Webb, Aaron Ashby, Mason Miller again. I think is another guy who I think you could have gone with. Jaden Hill of the Rockies is another guy. Raisel Iglesias. There's a lot of guys who I think could have. I like, you honestly could stretch the list of double digits. Like, I'm so serious. Like, there's so many guys who could have got this award. McGill is the guy who for me gets the edge, but Ethan, I want to hear, who's your guy?
Yeah, so I had a bunch of guys at the top, like McGill, like Morejon, but my number one that I went with here is Jacob Webb.
Yeah.
He pitched 14 innings. He had a FIP of 102, ERA of 0.64. He had a 90.9% left on base percentage, which for a reliever, very good. And obviously not giving up any long balls. His walk rate was a little up there, but the strikeout rate was also really up there. So I like that combination. And, 14 innings of just absolutely great baseball puts him there for me. He's not your sexiest name. It's not somebody you're going to see like, oh, wow, he had like 10 saves that month. That's crazy. It's more, like a come in, get you an inning later, rather than we're shutting you down in order in the 9th. But he gets the job done, and I thought he had one of the best months for any relief pitcher in baseball, so I have no issues giving him that award.
I can't believe he was stupid good, man. Like, the NL pitching, honestly, a lot of the NL pitching ones were just like they're stacked. They're so stacked. Pitcher of the month, reliever of the month, both absolutely stacked as hell.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Ethan, who do you got for your American League Rookie of the Month?
I mean, it's got to be Murakami. I feel like.
Yeah, that's my guy too.
I mean, he's
killing the game. Insane. He's absolutely killing the game right now. So, like, I've seen a lot of love for like Travis Bazzana. I've seen a lot of go for a lot of guys. I want to give another shout out to Robert Urania on the Angels. He's been really good
Yeah.
this month too. But Murakami, man, he ranks 7th among all American leaguers in WRC Plus. Not AL rookies, just all American leaguers in general. Right?
Yeah.
All ALers in general. He overall for the month, he's been one of the best players in the AL. He's tied for 15th in F WAR among all American leaguers for the month. He's killed it. Like, he's killed it. He's hitting tanks. Unfortunately, he's on the IL, and he's probably going to be out. What were they saying? Like 4 to 6 weeks? Is that what it was? Is that what they were saying? Like 4 to 6 weeks? I think that was the timeline from what I remember.
Yeah.
Which fucking sucks, man, because he was killing the game. He was killing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that stinks. But regardless of, all that, shout out to Murakami, man. He was killing it. 159 WRC plus, slugged 556. Overall had a slash of 244, 382, 556. Woba over 400. Like, he was nuking. He was absolutely nuking.
Yeah.
He was so good for this month. Like, I honestly, I don't think that there is another guy that I think you can give it to. I'm actually going to be so serious when I say that. Again, I know that there's love for other guys. I'm not saying that he's the only guy this month who's been doing shit. But, like, let's be honest with ourselves here. You know what I mean? Like, let's be...
Yeah.
Like, let's be so for real. It's him. So...
Yeah.
For National League, Rookie of the Month, I'm not gonna lie, I went back and forth on some guys. There's a good amount of guys who had some pretty good months who I think are pretty worthy of the award. I think that Carson Benj is a guy who you can consider for the award. I think Connor Griffin ultimately is the guy who I went with. The NL rookie class, not necessarily as strong, I think, is the AL rookie class this month.
Yeah.
Not to say that, like, Griffin, who I chose Connor Griffin for NL rookie of the month. Not to say that he was bad this month. Like, he was 18th in the NL and F WAR overall. Had a WRC plus of 129. Had a slash line of 306, 361, 459. But, it's not the jaw-dropping numbers that you see from, like, Murakami or something, right?
Right.
I think another guy who definitely up there, it's really close, was Chase Burns. I'm not going to lie. Really close to giving it to him. But I just gave it to Connor Griffin because shadow premium position, I guess. It was a toss-up. I kind of flipped. So.
Yeah, that's fair. I gave it to Jay Rumfield. I mean, he hit 310 on the month of May with a 400 on base, 139 WRC plus.
Sorry, who'd you
OPS.
say? Sorry, hold on.
I said TJ Rumfield.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah, he had a very good month. Wasn't super flashy, obviously, in the sense of, like, that's not somebody who hit, like, as many home runs as Murakami, but he did a bunch of everything well and was just able to consistently get hits at such a high rate, which led me to picking him over somebody else in that regard.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Another guy who I remember me and my friend, we went to a game against the Rockies earlier this season. This is a guy who we were low-key like trolling. Anytime that he came up to the dish, we'd be like, this is an auto-generated man.
Yeah.
But hey, listen, he's playing really good right now. 117 WRC plus in the season. You said, what, like 130 WRC plus in May, I think? 139.
Yeah.
He's been killing it. He's been one of the best. He's been one of the better hitters in the NL all month. Absolutely is, like, deserving to be in these conversations. Absolutely deserving of the award, too. So, respects to him.
Yeah.
I don't know who the actual winners for most of these are, so I'll see after, I guess.
I know Rumfield did win that.
Rumfield did win? Okay. I'll see how all mine match up.
And Murakami.
Okay, that makes sense. I'll see how all of mine match up to all of the actual real life ones after we're done, I guess. But yeah. So, Ethan, it's time for the
Yep.
big news.
Yep.
So, however many weeks ago, I don't remember exactly when we talked about it first, we talked and said that the MLBPA and the MLB, they had their first negotiations, and they basically did opening statements and stuff like that, right? Now, we have our first proposals from the MLBPA and the MLB. We have statements following these. We have reactions to these. We are going to go through on these, okay? So, I'm going to read off some of the bullet points from the MLBPA's first proposal, okay? So, this is from what Jeff Passan reported. These are the top line issues that he reported in their proposal. Number 1 is a competitive integrity tax, so basically a penalty for any team that does not have a $150 million payroll. An increase in the minimum salary from $780,000 to $1.5 million, so basically doubling the league minimum almost. An increase in the base CBT threshold from $244 million to $300. And there would be changes to revenue sharing that are going to there's going to be more distribution from the TV revenue, but less from in stadium. And the point of that is to incentivize actually putting together proper rosters and drawing fans in. And also free agency for players who are 30 years old and have 5 years of service. Now, I'm going to read off some of what the MLB proposed. Sorry, hold on. I'm trying to find it again. I have a bookmark. Okay. So, one of the big thing was the salary cap. That's the big thing that's surrounding these negotiations, right? The Players Association doesn't want a salary cap. The owners do, right? It's the first time in a while that the salary cap has actually been brought up. I think the last time was the 94 one where the players eventually ended up striking. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So the MLB proposed their salary cap, right? As part of their next CBA. And a salary floor. So the salary floor would be set to $171.2 million, which I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot higher than I thought they'd propose. We'll be totally honest with you.
Yeah.
However, they proposed a cap at $245.3 million. Now, if you want me to be dead honest, I think, listen, if you want a cap or you don't want a cap, whatever, that's a different conversation. If you're gonna have a cap, I think you need to get a good number for it. I think 245 for a cap is a joke. I think that's a joke. Now, obviously, again, these are first proposals. They are not going. The CBA is not going to look like these numbers. This is just how negotiations go. You're gonna lean more on your extreme side of the spectrum, and then you're eventually gonna try and meet in the middle, closer to what you actually want. I'm sure that the owners aren't actually saying, "I want the cap to be $245 million." I'm sure that's not what they're all talking about.
Right.
Surely, I'm sure they have a different number in mind, but they want to start lower, maybe get higher, whatever. Whatever it is. So there was the cap, there would be the split and local media stuff, all of that. So, actually, I want to find the full proposal. Because, there we go. So there would be the salary cap, there would be the floor, there would be a split revenue. So, this is from the official MLB.com report on it, right? So this reads, under the league's proposal, players would receive 50% of baseball revenue, enabling players and clubs to share equally as the sports revenue grows. There would be no reduction in compensation or benefits for major league players under the proposal, and they would receive more compensation in aggregate in 2027 than they are currently receiving this season. According to MLB, player compensation has not kept up with revenue growth the way it has in other sports. Since 2003, the league's revenues have grown 247%, while player payroll has grown 149%. The league is proposing that both MLB and MLBPA retain an independent accountant to verify the financials. The proposed definition of quote-unquote baseball revenue matches the approaches used in other leagues, providing the MLBPA with comparable independent audit rights and protections as the unions in the NBA, NFL, and NHL. And then there's some comps between other leagues and stuff. Now, this would also centralize revenue from local media, and it would share it equally among all 30 teams. The article reads, MLB believes this change will accomplish a top priority for fans by addressing local market blackouts while also increasing exposure for players and teams. Players receive 50% of any increase in media revenue under the current proposal. That's basically what it is. So the owners proposed cap and floor. I want to say something really quick, right? If you can be on the side of the players, you can be side on the owners, whatever. If you are one of the people who is on the side of the owners, I want you to actually have a genuine conversation and make genuine points as to it, right? Because I've seen some like solid reasons for people wanting a cap, whatever. I understand the want for a cap. I'm not saying that wanting a cap is stupid. I don't think a cap is going to do fuck all, and I think restricting in how teams spend in that way is actually not going to do very much.
Yeah.
I think.
For two things. One, if the whole point is to get teams to spend more, why would you add a salary cap, first of all? Second of all, it really is just baffling to me, though, that, like, the main thing that a lot of people are saying is that they want a cap, because it's like, I don't have an issue with teams spending. My issue comes more for how they're spending.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you shouldn't be allowed to do what the Dodgers are doing by deferring money to, like, 20 years, and it's not going against luxury tax. That's what they should be taking out. Not being able to spend that much money. And let's be realistic here. The players are never going to go for a cap, because they see how much money, like, look at the contracts recently. You think a free agent that's going to be a free agent in the upcoming season after the new CBA is going to see what Kyle Tucker and Bo Bichette are signing for in a short-term deal and say, you know what, I think a salary cap would be best.
Yeah, no, they're not going to go for anything like this. There was absolutely the PA wasted no time responding, and then MLB wasted no time responding either. So the interim executive director of the MLBPA, Bruce Myers, he said that players would actually be taking a $500 million pay cut if they accepted MLB salary cap proposal.
Yeah.
And then reiterated again that they're not agreeing to a cap. So, obviously the owner said there's going to be more money going around. There is this belief that, this is only going to affect the very top players, and it's going to cut their money.
Which is just not true.
I don't understand this logic, and
if anything, it's just going to cut the mid-tier players' contracts.
It's going to cut those middle
the
guys.
Superstars, like the stars, are going to get paid, and then the fringe players are also going to have roster spots because they're not going to be taking up a lot. And that's the thing. That's when the product becomes even worse on the field, because you're kind of putting guys who probably shouldn't be in the major leagues on your team just because you have to because of a cap.
Yeah. Especially with how, big baseball rosters are compared to other sports. I don't know. How big are hockey rosters?
Yeah, not big. But, because obviously baseball, you have the 40-man.
Mm-hmm. The 26 and the 40. What's the standard roster size for hockey?
23.
23?
20 active, though. 20 that can be, rest on a game, though.
Okay. So it's 20 for that. I don't know what football is. Football seems like it has big
Football's
rosters.
the most.
Football's the most. That makes sense.
Because football is 50 man, I believe.
That makes sense. I was gonna say football seems like they have really big rosters
because you have offense, defense, and special teams.
Oh, true. You're right. Yeah, you're true. You can tell, for anyone who's watching, you can tell I don't watch football. So
yeah,
you can tell. I mean, in basketball, it's the 15 man, and then you have your two ways and stuff.
Yeah.
But with rosters that are not as small, a lot of people are comparing it to NHL and the NBA. Well, not as much the NBA, more so I've seen a lot of NHL comparisons. I don't really think that you can run those same comparisons. I don't really think that you can. I'll be so you can't. Especially because also baseball has the most like tiers of like development and farm teams and all that, right?
Yeah,
by far.
I'll say this. I don't understand though why some people are completely saying, "Oh yeah, need a cap, need a cap, need a cap." It's like, why do we want to why do we want to appeal to the owners this bad? These guys are billionaires who are choosing not to spend an extra however many million strictly because they want to maximize profits and don't care about the actual team or the team's fans. I think that's a bigger issue than spending money on the players.
Exactly. And I have a genuine question for anyone who is currently listening. Ethan, I'm sure you've seen people like bring up the talking point of, oh, players make too much money, right?
Yeah.
Which, if you think that, that's a valid thing to think. They're getting these big.
But another thing is it's supply and demand.
This is also true.
The league brings in so much money into the teams to the point where signing guys is more beneficial, honestly, because investment-wise, like
it is.
The Dodgers have already made up all the money from the Ohtani contract and endorsements and
it is
like ticket sales, merch, like
it is. But regardless, right? If you think that players are going to pay too much, sure, that's a fair point. Whatever you want to think that, sure, that's okay. I don't really see an issue with that point on its own. But
yeah,
how come nobody that ever brings up this point directs the same energy to the billionaire owners?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Why do we not direct this same energy to the people who are making even more money than the players and are actively not, like, when you go to a baseball game, right? When you go, you pay whatever for that ticket. When you go to that bar and to watch the game with your friends, when you host the watch party at your house, you are not turning on
I'm not watching what the owner's doing. I'm watching what the players are doing.
You're not turning on the Mets game to see what Steve Cohen's doing. You're not turning on the Yankees game to see what the Steinbrenner's doing.
Like,
you're turning on the Yankees game because you want to see the Yankees play. You want to see
if I put a Blue Jays game on, it's not because I want to see Ed Rogers in the front row or something, or in his private suite with a camera on him. I'm watching to watch guys like Jeff Hoffman blow leads.
Shut up, bro. Shut up, man. But seriously. But
yes, you watch for the players. You don't watch for the owner.
The players are the product at the end of the day, right? And again, you think they're making too much compared to the average person? Sure, that I can kind of get behind that in a sense. But if you're not going to direct the same energy to the billionaire owners, I don't really think that that point has any legs to stand on.
No.
Like, unless if you're gonna be consistent, you can be consistent with it, right? I think it's totally fair to say that the players get paid more money than they probably should, but also at the same time, I don't think that you can say that and then also say, yeah, we need to cap how much players make, and then
you can't say that and say, yeah, we need to make it so the owners make even more profit.
Yeah, like you can't. That doesn't like that. Those two points that is together the most does
contradictory thing you can say.
That does not work. It doesn't work. I'm sorry, it does not work. Like that argument falls apart the second you don't direct that energy to the billionaires. Again, if you direct it towards both of them, sure. Like, you got it. At least, you're consistent. I respect it. But you don't. I have not seen a single person who's brought to this point direct the same energy to the owners. I've not seen one person do it. And it's a genuine question that I have. Like, where is the same energy? So anyways, Myers said, just to get back on track here, Myers said that players would basically be losing out on almost $500 million. That's a bold claim to make, considering what, the MLB said, that their proposal would have more money going around, right? However, we have it verified. Shout out to Baseball's Not Dead on Twitter, at @dead_baseball. Because guess what? He did all the math. And you know what? Meyer is right. So he did the math. He took the 2025 tax payroll, 2027 estimated tax payroll, adjusted everything for caps, and then, player change and all of this, right?
Yeah.
And he found that under this proposal, players would be losing anywhere from $284 million to $487 million.
Yeah, so in other words, there is a really good chance we're not seeing Major League Baseball next season.
Yeah. So, shout out to this guy for doing the math, by the way, and putting this. This tweet has been getting a lot of traction. It's been getting reposted. The chart's getting reposted. Whatever. There were people saying, "Why are you using tax money?" It's also because number one, the low range, the 287, the 2 whatever number, what is it, 287? That 284 number is actually completely independent of tax, like the tax dollars, whatever, the luxury tax.
Yeah.
And also you don't know how those are going to be handled. So there's another chart. This isn't from this year, it's from before. I wish I saved it. Ethan, you know that graphic that I'm talking about, right? It has the percentage of their 2024 revenue that teams reinvested into their 2025 payroll, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the usual suspects were at the top. The Dodgers, I think, were the number one team. The Mets were up there. The Yankees were up there. Jays, Phillies, Braves were relatively high as well. So the big thing that a lot of people say is that the small market teams can't afford to spend on the level as the big market teams, right? And on a certain level, I don't expect the Pittsburgh Pirates to throw out a $400 million payroll, right? I don't expect that.
Right.
But you are lying to me if you are going to tell me that every single team in the league could not run at a $200 million payroll.
Yes.
And
that's why I think a floor is way more important than a cap.
Yes, and I want everyone to think about this, right? I want everyone to think about this.
Yeah.
All of times that the owners, especially on smaller markets, and we've seen Pittsburgh do it a bunch of times, the Marlins, the Rays, all these teams, right, that have been cutting payroll even though they're near the bottom of the league in payroll. Why would they instantly turn around and propose a $170 million salary floor if for all of these years they could not afford to do it? I want to know why. I want to know the logic behind this, because I can't wrap my head around why they would propose a floor of $170 million if for all of these years they're cutting payroll when they're near the bottom, and they're saying that they can't afford to compete, they can't afford to spend, they can't afford to do this and that, right? They can't afford more than one big contract. Where's the logic here? You're gonna all of a sudden they can afford it? Why? Every single team in the league makes enough to run out a $200 million payroll. Don't pretend otherwise.
You could say 300, and I would say
300.
I would say there's a chance.
300, maybe not.
But the point is that you could say there's a chance. You could say, yeah, it's possible, which makes it seem like 200 is okay, yeah, this is not even. If you could say it's a possibility for 275-ish, 300, then I think that 200 is a joke of a number for it to be for a team not to spend
$300 million. I think I don't think every single team could would run it this year.
Majority of the league could. I think very easy.
And even so, whatever teams wouldn't be able to make a profit this year, right? Which, number one, by the way, if you are buying a sports team, if your argument is, well, they need to turn a profit, piss off. They're fucking billionaires. They have fucking revenue coming in in countless other sources. Don't fucking. I
want you to tell me an owner in pro sports whose only job is owner of that professional sports, meaning the only source of income, meaning no investments, no stocks, no other businesses. Strictly, that's their job. Their job is go in, pay the bills for the team, pay, do whatever, and that's the only thing they do. That's the only source of income, the team. No, that's just not, just no.
It's crazy because, some of the most, I don't want to say idolized, because, whatever. I think that's not the right word to use here, but when you look at owners in pro sports, a lot of them, the ones that people like the most, are the ones who are very clearly in it to win it, right?
Yeah.
For example, when Steve Cohen bought the Mets and he was doing his thing, people were like, "Now this is how everyone should try and be." Obviously,
Yeah.
not everyone has to be to that level, but it was so clearly obvious how serious he was about no matter what it takes, who wants the Mets to win.
Yeah.
You look at like basketball, for example. For the longest time, Mark Cuban was one of those guys too. Before he, eventually sold what he owned of the Mavericks. Right? He was one of those guys too. Right?
Yeah.
And now you're gonna tell me that we need to, quote unquote, level the playing field for guys like Bob Nutting and Mike Elias isn't the owner; he's the GM. But all these guys, right? All these different guys. Yeah. And then you're going to tell me that they're going to run out a $170 million floor proposal, and you're going to say they couldn't have afforded this for the last however many years? Like, come on, like, piss off. Which, again, if you're going to tell me that, they can't turn a profit on a $300 million payroll, number one, piss off, because they have countless other sources of revenue that I don't care. Number two, even whatever teams could not run a $250, $300 million payroll, whatever, right now, everyone knows, Ethan, everyone knows the saying, you got to spend money to make money, right?
Yes.
You spend more money in the short term, you grow your investment in the long term, right? That's like that's a principle of econ, business growing, all that stuff. A team that I think should be a fucking model for these small market teams to follow?
Who?
The fucking San Diego Padres.
Yeah.
That is who I think the model should be. And I'm not going to say that they've been run perfectly and that every single contract has been a gem. Like, the Machado contract's going to be ugly. The Bogarts contract is going to be ugly, I think. But this is a team who, for the longest time, they weren't spending. Right? And then, listen, that owner, AJ Preller, they said, hold on, it's time. AJ Preller went to the bathroom. He cut up a little something. He went... And he went at it. He signs Machado. He signs Tatis to that big, $300 million deal. He signs Bogarts. He's signing all these guys. He's doing all these trades. He's going all the fucking way in. Which, again, another reason why I have the utmost respect for AJ Preller, by the way. I think that is a franchise that a lot of these small market teams should, follow. That is, I think, what the example should be. Truly. I don't see a reason why... Now, again, I'm not asking every single team to sign $300 million contracts, right? That's not what I'm asking. But if you're going to tell me that the Pirates, the Marlins, the Rays, the Guardians, all these other teams, the Orioles, the Reds, the Royals, all these guys... that they couldn't be running a $200 million payroll right now, today, you're lying. You're actively lying to my face. You're taking the piss. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I was thinking about it a lot. And also, the more I think about it, right? The argument is that these teams don't make enough money, right? However, the solution, there's multiple things I think in the solution. Well, there's multiple solutions, but one of them is right in these proposals, right? The revenue sharing, right? If there's a higher degree of revenue sharing, are these smaller market teams inherently not getting, are they not getting more resources to work with than they would otherwise? Is that not already working towards, quote unquote, leveling the playing field?
Yeah, I don't know. You would really think, right?
If you are putting more money into revenue sharing, which again, part of the player's proposal includes more revenue sharing, right?
Yeah.
Especially on the media side of things. Teams like the Guardians, like the Royals, like the Pirates are going to get more money from everybody's media deals, from the TV deals and everything. So does that not also help level the playing field? I'm struggling to understand why that wouldn't be a thing. And also, there's another big elephant in the room. I don't know about you, Ethan. I have not seen this mentioned in any of the proposals. I haven't seen it mentioned in the big time like reports or anything. I think the big thing is the deferred contracts. Right?
Exactly. I think that's the big thing for me too.
Deferred contracts are nothing new, right? We've seen deferred contracts forever. Bobby Bonilla Day exists for a reason. There's
but that's a different, completely different scenario.
Well, I know. I'm just using it to say they're not a new thing. Like, you know, they've been getting talked about more in the last 5 years because the Dodgers have been, you know, going a little more crazy with it. But I'm just using that to say like they're not a new thing. Like we've seen them for a long time. Not super frequently, but we've seen them decent amount of time before. But here's the thing, right? A lot of the discourse surrounding the salary cap, it goes back to the Dodgers, right? They're signing all these deals, they're deferring all these contracts, blah, 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 blah. I think there's two major things that we have to consider with this. Number one, this would not be possible without Shohei Ohtani. He is essentially bringing you a whole other payroll plus worth of money on his own, right? Let's not pretend otherwise. I'm pretty sure every single team that was in the sweepstakes, they had a payroll, and then they had a payroll if they got Ohtani.
Yeah.
Like, because that's essentially he is a market on his own, right? So he is a big part of the reason why the Dodgers are able to spend so much money. And another component of that is the fact that they deferred $680 million of his $700 million. So now I'm gonna throw an idea out here, right? I had this conversation with some friends. I want to say in like February or something like that. We were at our campus pub, and it came up, right? And one of my friends, he asked me, he goes, "What would you do?" And I would say, I actually don't want a salary cap in the league. I know. Crazy. Big market fan says he doesn't want a salary cap.
Yeah.
But here's my thought process behind it, right? We've seen, for number one, by the way, a salary cap is not going to magically make the Ohtanis, the Judges, all these guys of the world. They're not going to magically choose to go to Kansas City, to Pittsburgh, to Cleveland, to all these places. New York and California and all these places, they're still going to be the premier free agent destinations that they've always been. A salary cap isn't going to change that. That's not going to change. I don't know what we think is going to happen. Let's take a look at the NBA, for example, right? They have a salary cap, right? Who the fuck is signing in Charlotte?
Yeah.
Who the fuck is signing in Utah?
That's another thing, because, like, even if they're, like, even without a salary cap, some of these teams struggle to get any free agents. Why would limiting how much they are allowed to spend change that? If anything, it makes it even worse.
Yeah. For a second, I think if you don't think about it too hard, I can understand the logic of, well, you limit what the top team spends, so now you have to, eventually some of these teams have to be chosen at some point, right? Before you think about it for more than 5 seconds, the logic makes sense, right? And then you actually think about it and you go, okay, well, how is that going to happen? Ethan, I'm gonna name off some franchises in basketball, and you're gonna tell me who's actually signing here. Who's signing with the Hornets? Who's signing with the Pacers? Right? Who's going to Charlotte? Who's going to Indiana? Who's going to Utah? Who's going to Memphis?
Who's willingly waking up one day and says, you know what? I'm really feeling like going to Cleveland.
It doesn't happen. Again, this is a league with a salary cap. And every single time that a big market team has money, they're always in the running for the top free agents. It's just how it fucking works.
Yeah.
There's no salary cap that's going to come and magically fix the competitive balance problems. And also, if you want to really play this game, Ethan, tell me, who's first place right now in the American League East?
Tampa Bay Rays.
Who's first place in the American League Central?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is first place in the National League Central?
The Brewers.
That would be correct. Now,
these teams must be like huge markets, right?
Huge spenders, you would think, right? Where does Cleveland rank in payroll? Take a guess.
28.
29. Where do the Rays rank?
31.
20.
I said 31.
31.
30, I meant, which is also not true.
24th. They're 24th. The Marlins are 30th. And guess where the Brewers rank?
I'm not gonna lie. I automatically just thought of like hockey, which is 32.
No, that's fair. I get you.
And I meant to say second. Like I meant to go for second last rather than the number.
No, I hear you. So, and guess where the Brewers rank?
23rd.
They're 20th.
Okay.
So for anyone who wasn't able to follow what I was saying, that is 3 division leaders in the bottom 11 in payroll. And also, while we're down here, the 33-28 Pirates ranked 23rd in payroll. The 31-28 Cardinals ranked 26th in payroll. And the 32-29 Chicago White Sox ranked 28th in payroll. That's quite a few solid teams this year who are in the bottom 11 in payroll.
Yeah. If it was a thing where consistently every year the top like 5 teams in the league are also top 5 in payroll, I'd say sure, a cap would make sense. But when you have teams every year that don't have a high payroll, why would you want to limit the spending of other teams if it clearly doesn't automatically give you a competitive advantage?
Yeah, 3 out of the top 7 teams in payroll are below 500 right now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're one of them. So, Ethan, we are going to play a bit of a game right now. We're going to do some good old-fashioned keep 3, cut 3. We're going to pit big. I'm going to give you some big spenders, and I'm going to give you some nonsense spenders. Okay? Some guys who just don't fucking spend. And you're going to tell me, based on their franchise success over the past 5 seasons, who you'd keep and who you'd cut. We're not going to do this blind. I'm just going to give you them, and then you're going to, say who you will. Okay?
Okay.
Number 1. Oh, okay, I mean, I guess the small market ones are obvious. The Rays, the Guardians, and the Brewers, right?
Yeah.
For my big spenders over the past 5 seasons, I'm going to give you the Red Sox, the Giants, and the Mets.
Yeah, I mean...
Keep 3 and cut 3. Who are you keeping? Who are you cutting?
I'm cutting the Giants. Definition of mid.
For anyone who is unaware, the Mets, Giants, and Red Sox all rank in the top 12 in payroll right now. The Giants rank 11th. The Red Sox rank 12th. The Mets rank number 1.
I'll obviously cut the Mets too, because...
Yeah.
What have they done? It was Rays, Brewers, and Guardians.
Yep. Over the last 5 seasons.
I'll cut the Rays probably, and then keep the Red Sox just because. But what are we even okay? What are we fully basing it on?
Just strictly over how successful these teams have been over the past 5 seasons. So go from 21 till now. I know the payrolls have fluctuated technically between year to year, but whatever. I don't feel like doing all the math for each 5 years. So
then I'm gonna take the Rays over the Red Sox if that's the case.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
So I'm gonna go Rays. I'll go keep Rays, Guardians, and Brewers then, and then cut the top team. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at these teams over the past 5 seasons,
I feel like it would have been better if this was like you gave me like the payroll and then like the record in the last 5 years or something rather than the actual teams. So I could kind of make it based off that.
Yeah.
But like obviously this wasn't like a planned out thing, so it was like an impromptu, so like I understand. But like, yeah, I mean, it just goes to show that spending doesn't automatically mean you're better. It's not like if your team spends more, you're automatically going to be some incredible team. So that's also why I think a cap doesn't make sense, because it's not like spending money directly correlates to how many championships you're going to win.
Exactly. It doesn't. And I understand people say, oh, well, the Dodgers are buying their players. I mean, on a certain level, whatever. Yeah, they're signing a lot of big contracts. Let's also not pretend that they just hand out money to every single person ever. They've had a good amount of guys walk too. You know what I
And
mean?
guys who just didn't pan out after signing them.
Right? Like, let's not pretend. Like, Corey Seager walked, Manny Machado walked, Max Scherzer walked, Trey Turner. You know what I mean? These are like guys who were stars when they were with the Dodgers who they just said bye. He said, "All right, see you later." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um. So again, really see. I don't really see it. I think the key, if you want "quote unquote" competitive balance, in terms of who's able to spend, who's able to get guys and whatnot, and level the playing field in the way that a lot of people want. I think the main things you have to tackle. Number one, I think you do more revenue sharing, and I think you tackle deferred contracts. I didn't really talk about too much. We didn't really go too deep into the deferred stuff right now. So obviously, you know that Otani's contract, 680 of the 700 million is deferred. That's like 90% or something. Something like that. It's close. It's close to 90%. Do you not understand how insane that is?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. They're paying him $2 million a year for 10 years, and then he's getting, on paper he's getting 68 a year for the following 10, I think, or whatever it is. Now,
which is crazy.
Let's say that you were able to limit. I don't know what the number would be. I'll just say, let's say you limit it to 50% of a contract is able to be deferred. Right?
Yeah.
I'm without thinking about it, let's just say that number. And let's say a contract has to be a certain amount of years for you to be able to defer it. Right? Because I'm not gonna lie, I think deferring like 1 year deals is fucking stupid. Like 1-2 year deals is stupid. Let's say a contract has to be like 4 years, maybe 5 years in order for you to defer money.
Yeah.
And maybe
I don't know. I mean, because then if you say that, then it gets even like more interesting, like to think about, like, so should you be able to do it where you're just paying out, like, because Otani's not going to start getting paid from his contract in like till the 2030s, right? Till 2030 or whatever it is. So it's kind of like maybe for the shorter ones, it makes more sense to have the deferral, because you shouldn't be able to pay off part of a contract like 15 years after it's signed or whatever.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of.
I see both sides, but I'm saying, like, it's tricky. Like, that's why deferrals just need to be like they got to do something about them.
Yeah, I think the deferrals are the big problem. Which again, I don't know about you. I haven't really seen it talked about as a major thing, because the Dodgers. Okay, listen. I understand that they bring in stupid money. They're not going to be. They won't be like, they wouldn't be able to run this kind of thing if, well, number one, let's assume that they didn't have Otani, right? They would probably be able to find a deferral, like a way to do deferrals enough to get to this number. They wouldn't be able to do this without Otani and without deferrals. They would like it. I don't think it would happen. I don't think you would see any team do it, except Steve Cohen, because he's a madman. But, like, it wouldn't happen. Like, it just wouldn't. And I don't understand why people are pretending like the big market teams have signed every single big time player ever. Ethan, the guy who's probably going to win AL MVP this year, is signed to a 13-year deal with the fucking Kansas City Royals.
Yeah.
The Padres have multiple $300 million players.
Yeah, some of them do have multiple home runs.
Some of them do. Some of them will. Some of them only have one. You know what I mean? I saw people on Twitter saying that, the current system basically guarantees that Skeens and Griffin are going to be gone from the Pirates. And it's like, what? What are you talking about? What is stopping right now? What is stopping the Pirates from giving Skeens like a long-term contract extension?
Yeah, and they already gave Griffin one, really.
And even if you want to say that Griffin's, I don't remember how his service time is, so I don't know if they're buying out 2 years, free agency, or 3 years or whatever. Regardless, if you have a guy for a decade, that's the league doesn't owe you much more than that.
Well, he was signed with no service time, so that's buying out the first 3 years of free agency, I believe.
Okay, so it's the first 3. Okay, yeah. I didn't remember.
Yeah.
if he came up after.
Because it's it's a 9-year deal, so 6 and then plus 3, so
Yeah.
3 years of free agency they buy out. So I mean, obviously a great contract for both sides.
Yeah. So okay, number one, I want to ask, what was stopping them from doing that with Skeens when he first came up, before he came up or whatever?
Yeah.
And what's stopping them from doing it now? Why?
Every day they wait, Skeens' price just goes up.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, like every single day they wait, it's more on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he does leave or if he does stay, who knows? Like we'll find out when that day comes. But if he leaves, I'm sorry, it's fully on the fucking Pirates, because you very easily could have done it. You've shown that you're willing to do it because you did it with Connor Griffin. We've seen the framework for this. If you really want to retain your homegrown superstars, fucking extend them. Again, the Braves were a model for it. They had people saying that Acuna and Albie should fire their agents.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that discourse. Listen, Ethan, we were there. We remember the conversations that were being had. People were saying that how the fuck did the agents let this happen, right? You remember it happened with Tatis. The Blue Jays did it with Vlad, although not the exact same circumstance. It was a year before his free agency, but regardless, they did it, right? I mean, I guess that's a big market, so I guess that's not the same kind of thing. But regardless, you've seen these quote-unquote smaller market teams do it. The Pirates did it with Connor Griffin. Padres did it with Tatis. The Royals did it with Bobby Witt Jr. You know what I mean? We've seen it happen. The Brewers just did it, again, not to the same scale of these guys. They did it with that one. I forget the name of the prospect, but I forget his name. But you know who I'm talking about. They signed him to the 8-year.
What team?
The Brewers. I forget who.
Cooper Pratt?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't remember his name. But we see these things happen, right? I saw people say that, the Brewers, they lose all their superstars to these big market teams, and it's are you going to tell me they couldn't have handed Freddie Peralta 6 180?
Yeah, it's not like we're asking to decide, these are $500-600 million contracts. We're saying bare minimum keeping a player that's good.
It gets to a point where, again, every single time that a player becomes good on the Rays, you're hearing them in trade talks, right? It was a thing with Glasnow. It was a thing with Austin Meadows. I hope. Okay, I mean, I don't want him in my division, but I kind of hope for their sake that it's not the same story with Caminero in 2-3 years. But realistically, it's gonna be a thing. They just did it with Brandon Lau, which, I mean, to be fair, they gave him a pretty solid extension, although it was super team friendly. But they just traded Brandon Lau, who was on the last year of his deal. You know what I mean? It was always a thing. We go back to Chris Archer. I mean, to be fair, they finessed that trade. Again, then they did it with Glasnow. They did it with Meadows. It's a thing. They do it with these guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Guardians, they do the same. They do it with Josh Naylor. They do it with all their guys. They did it with Corey Kluber. They do it with everybody. They did it with Lindor because they didn't want to pay him. Fuck, the Boston Red Sox did it. They're not even a small market, and they did it. Are you serious? You're gonna tell me that come on, man. They did it with the second best player in the league. And you're gonna tell me that I should cry for these small market teams because their owners don't want to fucking spend? The Pirates this past offseason handed out their first multi-year deal in a decade. In over a decade. Ivan Nova.
Yeah.
Ivan Nova, everyone. Ivan fucking Nova. I'm done. I'm done ranting for right now. I'm done ranting. This stuff pisses me off.
Yeah.
The more I talk about it, the more it pisses me off. Yeah, man. And also, I have a theory. And I don't want it to come true, but I have a feeling it will. So if a salary cap gets, implemented, right? You know how important in the actual salary cap leagues, right? Financial flexibility is, right? You have flexibility to move within the cap. Do we think that the small market fans are ready for that to become the new excuse as to why their owners won't spend money? And will just stay right around the salary floor?
No. That's a no.
Like, I don't think that we're ready for this. Right? I actually don't think that we're ready for this. I'm so serious, man. Anyways. I guess that's all that we have for this episode, unless there's anything else that you want to talk about.
I mean, as far as the CBA goes, I don't know what else can be said, at least.
No. For right now, I don't think that there's anything else that can be said. Obviously, we'll revisit CBA talks whenever there's new proposals. We'll break all those things down. But yeah. Thank you, everyone, for watching. To everyone listening, happy Pride Month, everybody. Shout out to all of our queer brothers and sisters who support,
we are allies over here at Down the Line.
Who support the show. I want this to be known. This is a safe space for anyone
except Yankees fans. I'm kidding.
Anyone except Yankees fans. I also want to make it a thing. If you're upset over MLB teams having Pride Nights and all that stuff, fuck you, get out of here. I don't like you. You're a piece of shit.
Why do they get a whole month? Shut the fuck up. You're the reason why they get the whole month. People like you are ignorant and absolutely just terrible people if you think that
these people
are the problem.
You people are the reason why something like Pride Month needs to exist.
End of the day, it's 2026.
It's 2026.
It shouldn't be considered like
if you're getting if you're getting all up bent out of shape about it because it has become more of a thing that, hey, let's actually support people who have been like societally like oppressed for decades, or not even decades, like forever. Yeah. Sorry, decades is underselling it. My apologies. Forever, like. And especially given the political climate of the world right now, I know that there's a lot of people who say don't bring politics to the sports. Number one, sexuality is not political, and if you think so, if you think otherwise, you're just fucking stupid. Also, politics are everywhere. Everything's political, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. And I will leave it off with a little stat/fact, because as baseball fans, they're important, stats. And here's one. Do you know when the World Health Organization removed homosexuality from its list of diseases?
When?
1990, which is really not that long ago when you think of it. So it's crazy to think that we're in a day and age still in 2026 where people are getting ridiculed, harassed, bullied, whatever it may be, for just something that they have no control of.
Yeah. That's just who somebody is, and I think that people who choose to make that an issue, like you're pathetic. Like, realistically speaking, you're pathetic.
Yeah,
like you're a bum.
It says way more about you than it does about the person that you're going after.
Absolutely. But yeah. Shout out to any of our queer brothers and sisters or others who
anyone who considers themselves part of the community.
Support the show. We love you. This is a safe space for you.
And if you aren't, even if you aren't, we still support you too for watching our stuff.
Exactly. If you don't fall under any of that, then cool. We also love you too. So.
And if you think that being gay is or falling under any of the categories that one may use to consider themselves, then you are not really welcome in this podcast. So you can
leave. This is actively not a safe space for those people. This is a safe space for the people who want to be, just want to be accepted for their identity, whatever it is, sexual identity, gender identity, whatever it is. The people against that, fuck you. But anyways, let's end it off now. Thank you, everyone, of course, for watching. No matter how much of the show that you listen to, watch, whatever. We still thank you no matter what. We will see you again soon. We'll see you in our next episode. We have a fun one for next week, so for the next time out. So we will see you all then. And in the meantime, take care, everybody.